It's quite apparent that this transparent custard pie is a unique treat. Hello, dears. Welcome back to Bake Me Up Buttercup. Some of you may know that I love visiting antique stores. I was visiting one the other day and found this delightful pie cookbook from the 1950s. It is filled with recipes ranging from incredibly tasty sounding to more unique choices. One that caught my attention is a recipe for transparent custard pie. I've simply never heard of that before, so I think we really must give it a try. Here we go. Let's start by making the pie crust. This book contains a pastry recipe that it recommends using. So let's give that one a try. In a bowl, measure out 1 cup of sifted flour and add in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Let's mix these up well. Next, we will add in 5½ tablespoons of cold shortening. It's important that all of your ingredients are cold when making pastry. Using a pastry blender or 2 knives, we will cut the shortening in until it forms pea-sized clumps. It is interesting that a lot of pie crust recipes from the 50s and 60s call for shortening over butter. I suspect that's largely due to the lower cost of shortening, but it's also easier to work with due to its lower melting point. However, you do miss out on that lovely buttery flavored crust. Once mixed, we will add 2 to 3 tablespoons of ice water, 1 tablespoon at a time, just until the mixture starts to hold together with slight pressure. Now we will place the mixture onto a clean surface and gently press it into a disc. Wrap tightly in plastic wrap, then chill in the refrigerator for at least 1 hour. Once chilled, we will place our dough onto a lightly floured surface and then roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch thickness. Carefully transfer the dough to a 9-inch pie tin, using care not to stretch the dough when placing it in the tin. Well, it's just barely fitting in here, and even then, not quite. I would say this pie dough recipe should probably be a little bit larger, even for a small 9-inch pie tin like I have here. Very interesting. We're gonna try and make this work though. Well, we did the best we could. Let's pop this back in the refrigerator while we work on the filling. In a large mixing bowl, add 2 cups of sugar, 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and 3 tablespoons of cream. Let's give these a good whisk. I feel like this filling is going to be very thick. Next, we will add in 4 egg yolks that have been beaten, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of flour, a dash of pear, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Whisk until well combined. Oh, well, it's kind of just a thick mess here. Certainly isn't like any other pie filling I've ever seen. It's coming together some, but gosh, it's thick. Now we will pour this mixture into our pie shell. Pour is used a bit loosely here. This needs to be baked at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 232 degrees Celsius, for 10 minutes. Then we will reduce the temperature to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius for 25 to 30 minutes. The recipe states that a knife inserted into the center should come out clean. However, after 25 minutes, the top of my pie was looking quite brown, so I removed it. However, a knife inserted into it would definitely not have come out clean. Very unusual. The recipe calls for using a brown sugar meringue. I've never heard of using brown sugar in meringue, so I am quite curious how this will turn out. We will add 2 egg whites to a mixing bowl and beat on a medium-high speed until they are frothy. Gradually add in 4 tablespoons of brown sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and continue beating until stiff peaks form. For our final step, let's cover the pie with the meringue. Get on there. This will need to bake one last time at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 163 degrees Celsius, for 15 to 18 minutes. And now for the reveal. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? All right, now it's time for our taste test. I am quite curious about these. And we'll have our official taste tester try his as well. Here we go. It's very sweet, as I expected.
Tastes like a sugar pie.
It certainly does. Yeah, it's not got a ton of flavor. It's really just sweet.
It's just incredibly sweet.
I don't think I could eat more than a few bites of it. Definitely wouldn't be my go-to pie, but it's also not terrible either.
I actually think the crust seems thicker because there is like a layer of
It's like crystallized
sugar at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. It's very different, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
As far as transparent goes, I wouldn't necessarily say it's transparent, but it's certainly not much color there, which I guess maybe that's what they mean.
Yeah, I was surprised at the final color out, especially with how dark the top got.
Yes, indeed. It was quite interesting. There you have it, a transparent custard pie. Thank you for joining me on this vintage pie adventure. If you enjoy vintage recipes, check out my playlist featuring all sorts of old-timey treats I have tried. Until next time, mwah! Unique treats.
Uniquely bad.
Uniquely bad. It's bad. Don't try this recipe.
It's not a good one.